All right, guys. Today you're getting a non-expert opinion on two really popular all-terrain tires. I actually own both tires currently. I'm running them simultaneously on two different trucks. So you're not getting an expert opinion, but you're getting the opinion of somebody who runs both of them. Tell you the truth, I've been really happy with both of them. I don't think you will regret a purchase on either one of these tires. I wish I would have made this video about a week ago, because right now there is a manufacturer rebate on the Ko2s. It actually expires today, October 21st. You can get 60 bucks off a set of four. It says after mail-in rebate, but I'm pretty sure you can just fill it out online. Actually brings the price of the Ko2s to a few bucks cheaper than the AT3s, the Wildpeaks. So your set of four after mail-in rebate on the Ko2s is going to be $1,171. Set of four on the Falken Wildpeaks, $1,184. Cost really shouldn't be a deciding factor when you're picking between these two tires, and I'll tell you why. If you want performance all-terrains, you're in the right spot. The other ones I might look at are the Nittos, but Tire Rack doesn't sell them. Cooper makes some really good tires too. So I was looking at Nittos, Coopers, BF Goodrich, and Falcons, looking at their all-terrains across the board. I narrowed it down because I don't know that Tire Rack sells Coopers or Nittos, and I've had such good luck with Tire Rack. When I was looking and researching these tires, I watched YouTube videos, I read blogs, I read forums, and I did a lot of research on Tire Rack's consumer-driven reviews and also their team-tested reviews. And here's, I'll get into this in a little bit, but they sort of rank everything on a scale of 1 to 10, makes it really, really clean. But more importantly, with Tire Rack, I live, 25, 30 miles from a Tire Rack distribution center. More importantly, my office is like 8 miles away. So, and it's in Delaware. When you pick up tires from Tire Rack directly, they'll ship them to your door for free. But if you pick them up, they pass the savings on to you. You pull up to their warehouse, you call a number, say I'm here with order number such and such. They come out with a little stand-up forklift, load everything in your truck, you're gone in 5 minutes. And they give you a $64 discount to do that. So I drive, 10 minutes out of my way to save 64 bucks. It's a pretty good return on investment. Another thing to keep in mind, there is no sales tax in Delaware. So if I buy these tires, and I did buy both of them at Tire Rack, picked them up, I'm saving 125 bucks off the top, somewhere in that ballpark, just in saving taxes and the discount they give you. So I love Tire Rack. I don't care where you get your tires from. Get them from Costco, get them from Walmart, get them from your local tire shop. That's what you should be doing. And I did get all mine mounted and balanced locally. But Tire Rack's been really good to me, so I'll use their website for their research and because I've had good experience with them. But the Ko2s, again, got in 2019. I actually got a wheel and tire package from Tire Rack. The wheels and tires are worth more than the truck, or about half the value of the truck. And something crazy, since 2019, the price of the Ko2s for the same size that I have on the Chevy are up about 50 bucks a tire. I think I paid $197 a piece, and now I think they're $247, which is insane. But again, that's life, right? That's inflation. That's the booming economy that we're all living in. So why did I go from the Ko2s to the Falcons? I've had the Ko2s for four years. Had the Falcons since early February of 2023. So not quite a full year on the Falcons. But why did I make the switch? A couple reasons. I like the look of them. I like the chunkier tread pattern. I like the sidewall. I think they both look pretty sweet. And I also, when I got the Ko2s, I was like, oh, this is the gold standard, the granddaddy. I'm gonna have Ko2s on my truck. I didn't necessarily grow out of that, but I was like, oh, let's try something a little different, a little less conspicuous. Went with the Wildpeaks. The Falcons also offer 5,000 additional miles on their manufacturer warranty. So the Falken Wildpeaks are a 55,000 mile warranty. The Ko2s are a 50,000 mile warranty. Also, if you look at specs, the Falcons are, I think, 1830 seconds tread depth versus the Ko2's 1530 seconds. Now, the important thing you realize here, all these differences are minuscule. Not one should push you over, 18, 30 seconds versus 15, 30 seconds. Should you get a little more wear out of the tire? Yeah, you should, but you're going to be happy with either tire. One thing I was worried about when I was putting all-terrains on the good truck was road noise. And going to an all-terrain from the factory, the OEM tires that were on it, the Michelins, I was like, man, I hope this isn't loud, because we don't go on crazy cross-country adventures. But my sister, she lives an hour and a half away. In the summertime, we go to the beach. That's about 2.5 hours. So we put some highway miles on them. It is such a comfortable truck. I was scared I was going to screw that up. I didn't want it to be loud. Now, it does have the Ford sound clear glass in it that's supposed to be even quieter. I did not notice a difference at all, not even a tiny bit. And if we go down to, I think there's like a road noise, a comfort. So the noise, it's saying the Falcons are an 8.6 to the good. A 1 would be bad. And they're saying the Ko2s are an 8.3. The Chevy is older, so I notice more noise in the Chevy, but I think that's just because it's an older, louder truck. Between the Falken Wildpeak AT3s and the Michelin All Seasons, did not notice a bit of difference. Another thing I did on both trucks, I went up a load range. So the Ford F-150s come with a load range XL. I went with D's. Gives you a little bit more oomph, a little bit more towing hauling. On the Chevy, I think it might have come with D's, and I went to E's on it. Same thing. I overload that truck. I beat it up. I figured having a little bit more rigidity wasn't a bad thing. On the Wild Peaks, another thing I like on the Wild Peaks, they claim that their sidewall is specially designed to take on heat, and I'll show you the marketing that I fell for. Right here, the Wildpeak AT3 features heat diffusing technology in the lower sidewall designed to dissipate the heat in the internal structure when towing or hauling loads. So I take this truck on the beach pretty frequently, the F-150 with the Wild Peaks, and I air down from 38 pounds down to 17, 18 pounds. If it's 90 degrees outside, the sand might be 120, 130 degrees, and you're running the sidewall really low, I kind of fell for it. I said, hey, if it'll dissipate heat, I'm going to be using these tires in the heat. Let's go for it. The all seasons I had on before it, the Michelins, they did fine on the sand, but I have a ton more confidence with the more aggressive tread pattern on these in the sand. Never had an issue. I also never had an issue with the Michelins, but I feel a lot better running the Wild Peaks on the beach. And they're also, both tires are a heavier ply. I want to say I think they're 8 ply each. Something crazy, or they have like a 2-ply steel belt and 3-ply rubber. But that more rigid sidewall for both trucks in both tires was important to me. On the beach, I figured if this thing was flexing all the time, under load, hot, low PSI, having a more rigid sidewall would help. And on the farm, I'll run the Chevy through the woods. I'll run it up back lanes with, there's some, it's mainly crush run gravel. It's not any crazy rocks. But I figured those more robust sidewalls were going to help in both instances. One is not better than the other. Another important thing, both tires are the 3-Peak Mountain Snowflake rated. Now, you can read through the description. I wanted all-terrains that were 3-Peaks Snowflake rated. What that is, it's not just tread design that's made to kick out snow and grip better in lightly packed snow. It's the compound of the rubber is supposed to give you a better grip in colder weather. Now, it's never going to be as good as a dedicated winter, snow ice tire, but we don't get enough snow. I live in Maryland. We can have a blizzard every once in a while. We can have winters where there's, several days with 5 inches of snow. In most cases, I don't want to leave the house if the roads aren't good. And Maryland does a pretty good job of plowing the roads. Not many good things about Maryland, but that's one of them. But realistically, I wanted my wife in an emergency, or if she had to go to the store, to be able to jump in the truck with some confidence, put it in automatic 4-wheel drive, and go and have some confidence she's going to get there and back safe. If I had to go to the office for some reason, which I can't fathom if there was a ton of snow, I would take the old truck with the Ko2s. I would leave the good truck with the Wild Peaks and have some confidence her and the kids would be safe if there was an emergency. I don't have a ton of experience in the snow with the Wild Peaks because I got them, like I said, in February of this year. I wouldn't call it a ton of experience with the Ko2s either, but I've had those on the farm truck for 4 years. Ran them in some snow, played around in fields and on the back lanes with snow, and driving in legit snow on the roads. They did great. As long as you have common sense and you're not doing anything dumb, both tires are going to get you there and back. So that was important to me. You're going to pay a little bit more for that. I think it's worth it if you're running a truck. Would I get winter tires? No. If money was no object, maybe I'd have a set of winter tires mounted on wheels and swap them out, but realistically, it's not necessary. So let's go through a little bit of Tire Rack's. This is all consumer-driven data. They also put out some really cool videos and written reviews from their staff. But what skewed me towards the Wild Peaks, aside from what I've already mentioned, is that they beat the Ko2s in this proprietary Tire Rack rating in every category except wet performance, okay? Let me take a sip of coffee. So, wet traction, there are 9. I don't even know how this works. No, dry performance. I'm sorry, they beat it in wet performance. Dry performance, they're 9.1. The Ko2s are 9.2. But realistically, both tires in the 9s, I'm not really worried about dry performance. So everywhere else, they beat it. So off-road, the Wild Peak is an 8.9 versus an 8.8. Wet performance, an 8.9 versus an 8.8. Dry, 9.1, 9.2. They're matched in winter and snow. Comfort, again, they're saying that the Wild Peaks are a little noisier. I do not find that to be the case. The quality is impeccable in both. Tread wear, you should have a little bit better on the Wild Peak just for the tread depth alone. But let's go to this wet performance. So a couple weekends ago, we had to take my little girl to the hospital, middle of the night. She was having trouble breathing. She had like a viral infection and then croup on top of it. It was pretty scary. We heard her on the baby monitor. She's 2. We heard her coughing at about 12:30. We took her in. She was, brought her into our room. She was responsive, but she was having a lot of trouble breathing. My wife's aunt works in an ER, so my wife texted her at 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. She happened to be working. She said, "Yeah, you should bring her in." So my wife's aunt said, "Hey, if you think you need it, you could call an ambulance." I was pretty confident I could get to the hospital quicker than an ambulance could get to me and then get to the hospital. So we jumped in the good truck with the Wildpeak AT3s, and I drove a lot more aggressively than I normally drive. It was a misty, foggy night. The roads were damp, which is where you're going to lose traction more than a downpour. I was switching lanes on Interstate 95, driving a little bit too aggressively, but I needed to get there. I did not for once have any lack of confidence in those tires. I was actually impressed on a couple places where I thought it might break loose a little bit. No issue. So I'm not saying Wild Peak saved my family. We would have been fine. But I did drive pretty aggressively, a lot more aggressively than I'm used to. The tires did not break loose once. They did not, cut in lanes. They did great. I think most tires would have, but I've had some other tires that didn't. I've had several trucks. I had an old F-150, a 99 F-150. The tires on that thing sucked. But long story short, the Falken Wildpeaks really shone when I needed them to. I don't think you will be disappointed with either purchase. What I would say, if you can find the size you want or the size you need for a decent price, go ahead and get them. I don't regret the Ko2s on the Chevy. I love the Wild Peaks on the Ford. If you had to switch them, well, they don't match anyway. They're different tire sizes. But again, if you had to put one on the other, I would be like, oh no, I got Ko2s on the F-150 now, or oh man, these Wild Peaks are not doing well on the farm truck. They're both awesome tires. The other ones I was looking at were the General Grabbers. They have a really good rebate right now, $100 for a set of 4. I don't like the look of them. I don't think the sidewall looks as cool. The tread pattern doesn't interest me as much. you know what? If somebody gave me a set of these, I'd probably be thrilled with them as well. Okay, there's nothing wrong with the Generals. I kind of felt like I don't like the General name as much as Falken or BF Goodrich, but they're probably great tires too. At this price point, on this level of all-terrains, these are kind of their flagship tires across the brands. You're going to be happy with them. So just get what you can find. Get what's going to make you happy. These are going to be on your truck for years. Get something you like. Get something you're proud of. The other thing I will say, the Ko2s are made in America. I think the Falkens are made in Thailand, if I'm not mistaken. It shows you on here. Let's see if we can find it. Just trust me on that. So if you want, here we go, country of origin. Thailand on the Wildpeaks, US on the Ko2s. That alone could be a reason to go Ko2, especially with that $60 rebate. But they're good tires, guys. Don't overthink this like I did. I wasted a lot more time than I should have. If you're stuck between the two, flip a coin. If I was putting new tires on the good truck again, would I get Wildpeaks or Ko2s? I'd get Wildpeaks. I've been happy with them. If you gave me Ko2s, I would thank you very much. Put them on, and I'd be happy with them too. Don't overthink this. They're great tires. They're not going to affect your ride, switching from your all seasons to all terrains. They're not going to be any noisier. They're going to perform better. They're going to give you confidence, and they're going to put a smile on your face. If you have any specific questions, put it in the comments. I will do my best to reply to all those. Appreciate you watching. Like, subscribe. See you on the next one.